This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
And here we have a specimen from the early 2000s, a legacy investing platform. Please don't touch the exhibit, folks. It could crash.
Ready to step out of the financial history museum? At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Jana Kramer from Wind Down with Jana Kramer. When we were deciding on our appliances for the house, Samsung was at the top of our list. And I love my Samsung appliances, especially because they're so reliable. And with my busy schedule, having reliable appliances has been a game changer. It's no wonder Samsung is the #1 brand for customer satisfaction. That's why I'm excited to tell you all about Samsung's new line of smart appliances featuring their brand new bespoke AI laundry combo. This incredible magic machine washes and dries in one machine, one load, no transfers, no timers, no rewashing needed. New bespoke AI appliances. This is home living made simple. For more information, visit samsung.com/bespoke.
68-minute cycle based on 27-inch combos, based on using a super speed cycle only with a 10-pound DOE load, cotton 50% plus polyester 50%. Individual results may vary based on actual load content.
Head over to our contest page and enter for your shot at a pair of early screening passes for the new DC Studios film Superman in theaters July 11th. Enter today at KFAN.com keyword contest. That's KFAN.com keyword contest to enter now.
Couple 13-14 past Common Man program breaking news. Centerville has filled the final slot in our 2 o'clock hour. It's a, I don't know if we should come up with some kind of a name like 2 o'clock guest. No, that's what it is, but it's not really special. But tomorrow, what order are we again? Today it's John Bonus. Talk 2 to 3 Twins baseball from 2 to 3. Tomorrow it's LaBelle Neal III. Thursday it's Michael Russo, and you just filled the Wednesday slot with You Think He Ain't? The superstar Mike Morris will join us in studio on Wednesday. So, and we're not in Friday. Friday we're out. It's the 4th of July holiday. So there you go. Time now, though, for 534.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1.
It's now time to take an in-depth look at the welfare of the wolves.
Yeah, a couple contracts for the Wolves this weekend. Julius Randle opted out of his contract and agreed to a 3-year, $100 million deal with the Timberwolves. The Wolves also finalized a 5-year deal worth $125 million with Naz Reid. Common, do you like the extensions of Randle and Naz?
Yeah, I guess. Yes, Monday Night Football guy, the late Monday Night Football guy would have said, I guess. Randle was pretty darn good after he came back from the injury. Seemed to find his way with the team. Seemed to embrace his role as they keep calling it something like point forward, whatever the hell that means. He was really good. As a matter of fact, after his return from injury, he might have been the best player on the team. He was really good, as far as statistically, points scored, rebounds, defensively, assists. Defensively, he was pretty solid. So and then again, it's like, well, if you don't have him, where do you go? So you got to have that position filled. Nas is Nas. I wasn't sure if he would leave or not, but he does. The kind of money he's making is it like 5 years, 125? Is that $25 million a year?
Yeah,
that's good dough for anybody. I mean, it won't get him to the grave, at least for 1 year, but and he does serve. Now his numbers, I guess, were down last year from the year before when he was sixth man of the year, but he still serves a purpose. Really good player. He'd start on a number of teams, so I like that. I don't know what that leaves us. We're trying to stay under that second apron of the luxury tax because there's not only do you get, it's basically a fine is what it's, a tax that you have to pay into for being over the salary cap, but then there are roster repercussions that you can't grow the roster as well. I don't know all of them. I've seen them rat road a few times, like draft picks and second exceptions and this, that, and the other thing. In other words, it's best to stay below that second apron of the luxury tax, unless you do believe it's like, okay, this is our year. I think we can win the whole thing if we go a little bit extra here. So I don't know now with what they have left, if everybody suggests, I tend to agree that they need a point guard unless they are just going to turn it over to Dillingham. Conley will probably be coming back. Right? I don't know if it's going to be his last year, but he certainly will be coming back from what I've been able to understand, from talking to people and reading some things. So, yeah, I guess we're running it back. I don't know if they'll be good. I mean, they'll be a playoff team barring significant injuries, but I don't know how far they can go. I know I'm in the minority on this as far as the Béranger, Jean Béranger, young kid. He was the 17th pick overall, first round of the draft last week. He is an exceptional athlete, apparently. He's tall. He's 6'11", big wingspan. Only picked up the game a few years ago, but has played very well offensively. Maybe a bit challenged, though. The story I read said, well, just because playing on the team he did in Slovenia, he wasn't given the opportunity to use the offensive skills that he has, I guess. And there's the talk he'll spend a lot of time down in the G League, and it's like, well, okay, but, and I know, look, I realize that he's only 3 years in. He's a young kid, and throwing him into the NBA is maybe he'd be a bit over his head, but I don't know. I don't know what you learn in the G League. You're just playing against other young kids, and okay, that's great. So you played with them, but then you come up to the NBA, and it's a whole other story. So why not just get to the whole other story right away? Let's skip the G League part and just go right to the bigs. I just think you can learn more playing with the better players. Rudy Gobert, they're now the French connection. He can take him under his wing and show him the ropes. Gobert's the guy sort of, because they're both Frenchmen, the quotes I saw from Béranger says he sort of patterned his game after Gobert. I'd play him up here, and the point I made last week tended to be, we brought the Dallas Turner guy along pretty slowly with the Vikings. But as I said last week, if your linebacker makes a major gaffe during a game, that one gaffe could cost you the entire game. And one game that your inexperienced linebacker could cost you a playoff spot. If Béranger misses a couple of switches on defense, that's 4 points. He missed 2 buckets. It's not that big of a deal. Then you pull him off and set him down. Because it's not like we need the roster spot because we run 10, 12. We play 8 guys is all we play anyways. So it's not like he's taking up a roster spot from somebody that's going to be giving you quality minutes. But my guess is they'll start him with the G League team. I saw, is it Joe Engel?
Yes.
says he intends to sign, I would too. Joe does not play, and he gets $3.6 million a year. I would sign.
Not a bad gig.
I would sign that contract to me before the Wolves have a chance to change their mind. That's what I would do.
Question number 2.
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score.
It's now time to delve deep into Twins territory.
Crack out a home run, shout a hit, hooray! Cheer for the Minnesota Twins today.
Common, what's the A topic from the Twins weekend in Detroit? A, they were shut out by Tariq Skubal and the Tigers, going 2 for 28 with 14 strikeouts, 2 singles, and 1 walk. And they had a 109 expected batting average, the 10th lowest mark by an MLB lineup in any game this season. B, the Twins pitching staff posted an MLB worst 6.07 ERA in June, the highest ERA for the month of June in Twins history. Or C, Royce Lewis will join the team tomorrow. So the Twins lost 2 of 3 in Detroit. Almost got no hit yesterday by Skubal.
I would say what stands out more to me is how great a distance it appears to me there are between the Detroit Tigers and the Minnesota Twins. That Tigers team is loaded, top to bottom. I looked up, I did a Google search about how many players on the current Tigers roster are homegrown talent from Detroit and how many from the Twins. And there are a number of players on the Twins that they started in our organization. Detroit has a lot of them, including Skubal, if I read correctly. And if I didn't, maybe a ball guy can correct me. And homegrown talent's the best way to go about it because free agency costs you a boatload of money. And and homegrown pitching is the very best. And the Skubal guy, he won the Cy Young Award yesterday. I watched much of that game because it was a late start. I actually went to check the score in the middle of the day while I was out playing golf. And I saw that it was a 6-10 start, so I thought, this is great. So I got home, and because I've been shirking my homeowner responsibilities, I went out and on my paver patio, I was taking little weeds and some moss out of cracks and crevices for like an hour. Do you know how tedious that is and how unfun? It's just really not. I don't get a lot of enjoyment from it, but I did that. So I got in about 7 o'clock. Game was 40 minutes old or 50 minutes old, whatever it was. And the Skubal guy hadn't given up a hit. And did he surrender 1 the entire game? Was that it? I mean,
1 hit, yeah.
He can pitch. I mean, and again, the Twins lineup is not going to make you forget about Murderer's Row. We'll ask LaBelle about that tomorrow. LaBelle insisted that they will swing the sticks, and they have at times, but it's certainly, it's been way too inconsistent for me. To think that we're this great hitting team. But the Skubal guy looks like he's on his way to another Cy Young. They can't hit him. Nobody can hit him. And the whole team is just really good. So that stands out more than anything. Royce Lewis coming back, I don't know. I watched him in St. Paul on Friday night. I went to the game. I think I mentioned that to you. I went with with Deuce and his gal and my lovely wife, Potato. His first at-bat, he swung and missed. He swung as hard as he possibly could at the first 2 pitches he saw. It was a 3-pitch at-bat. He fouled both of them off. Then on the third one, he missed by a mile, and he struck out swinging. Then he popped out right behind second base to the second baseman, maybe the shortstop. I don't know who went to hit the ball. And then he grounded out. And you could tell he was kind of not running real hard because he didn't. I mean, the last thing you want to do is pull your hammy again, especially in a minor league game. So I don't know what to expect from him when he comes back. The timing sure wasn't there against the minor league Louisville Bats.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it will be like. And I'm just waiting for his hammy to get pulled again. I'm assuming that it will. Will it be in the first game? Will it be a week from now, a month from now? But the Tigers are a really good outfit. Still have the best record Major League Baseball. I think their lead is now, it's either 11 or 12 games in the AL Central.
They're 11 and a half ahead of Cleveland.
It's, I mean, again, I know there's still a lot of baseball to be played, but they look like they're on their way to home field advantage throughout. So there you go.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
Got some other great ideas for nicknaming Grand Casino Hinckley, or just Grand Casino. Went ahead now as naming rights for the former XL Energy Center We like to have little nicknames. Got some really good ideas coming in. Take a look at those and some other topics as well here on the Common Man program on The Fan.
The Fan and BigDeck.com wants to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword cash at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. That keyword is cash. Enter now at KFAN.com.
And here we have a specimen from the early 2000s, a legacy investing platform. Please don't touch the exhibit, folks. It could crash.
Ready to step out of the financial history museum? At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/iHeart.
Are you shopping for a new laptop while still trying to keep up with technology and AI? Talk about feeling burnt out, but no more. Lenovo.com makes it easier than ever to find the perfect PC. In fact, we'll break it down for you. Step 1. Shop our lineup of AI PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, because why deal with downloading new software when you can buy a smarter PC that already comes with all of the AI features and tools? Step 2. Find the one that fits your passion. Whether you're a creative genius, a research scientist, a hardcore gamer, or a future CEO, no dream is too big. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. You can keep up with your ideas as well as any challenges you may face. Step 3. Add to cart and purchase. Oh, if you're a college student or a teacher, make an education account through us and get 5% off your whole order. Shop now at Lenovo.com. A better future is waiting, and it needs you.
This is Jana Kramer from Wind Down with Jana Kramer. I love my Samsung appliances, especially because they're so reliable. And with my busy schedule, having reliable appliances has been a game changer. It's no wonder Samsung is the #1 brand for customer satisfaction. That's why I'm excited to tell you all about Samsung's new line of smart appliances featuring their brand new bespoke AI laundry combo. This incredible magic machine washes and dries in one machine, one load, no transfers, no timers, no re-washing needed. You just toss in your dirty clothes and they go from dirty to dry in as little as 68 minutes. It simplifies your entire laundry routine. Plus, you can remotely schedule cycles from your phone so you have fresh clothes ready when you are. New bespoke AI appliances. This is home living made simple. For more information, visit samsung.com/bespoke.
68-minute cycle based on 27-inch combos, based on using a super speed cycle only with a 10-pound DOE load, cotton 50% plus polyester 50%. Individual results may vary based on actual load content. SmartThings app available on Android and iOS devices. Wi-Fi connection and Samsung account required.
Thanks to friends at Unreal, you can restock your wardrobe with Unreal golf apparel this year, just like Common. Register to win up to $1,000 in Unreal golf apparel on our contest page. One lucky winner will restock their closet with amazing golf apparel thanks to Unreal. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter today.
Uninformed, unprepared, and unapologetic is what we hang our hat on. I am uninformed with who is in after we leave today, Tennessee. I think Big Ticket's still out. I thought JG said he's out. Do we have any idea who's in at 3 o'clock
I thought today? I saw it might be Russo.
Okay. Russo's spending an awful lot of time in this radio station lately. So, of course, he always does. Number of other ideas tend to be as to, it was announced today that the Lax Band of Ojibwe Grand Casino.
Yeah, Russo's in Pereira today.
They have 2 casino complexes. They have Grand Casino Hinckley and Grand Casino Mille Lacs. They now have naming rights for what was formerly known as the XL Energy Center, so the Wild Hockey Arena. Of course, it's not just hockey. They also do concerts and other events there as well. We always like to have a nickname. We called it the Fuse Box when it was XL Energy Center. Get it? Someone thought, we should call it that Sinking Feeling Arena, which, when you watch the Wild play, you do get that sinking feeling oftentimes. Someone else came up with Puck Luck Arena. Puck Luck Arena. Then there's also the House of Cards. Brilliant. The House of Cards. Then my favorite might be where did it go again? Can you give me the thank you. Oh, someone else came up with the Wild Card. The Wild Card is a great nickname for the newly named Grand Casino Hinckley. And then one other person came up with, after being eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, they can call it the flop. They can call it the flop. Poker term that Tenneby is very familiar with, having played cards. That's what you do in Hold'em. Flop also, I'm very familiar with it. I flop oftentimes during the Flop, Sweat, and Tears tour events. So the flop would work too. So there's a lot of great names coming in, and we will keep track of them as the rest of the afternoon goes by. Somebody else sent, in regards to the Wilds, they said, what is the deal with its, it says, no one is talking about, Common, why with our influx of big guys for the Wolves, why are we not reconstituting the Kevin McHale big man camp for developing these guys? We actually played the Kevin McHale big man bit even before they started drafting. The Wolves drafted 2 centers. They drafted the Beranger character. And then what's the other kid's name? I forget his name now.
Something like Kakarski or something like that?
Yeah, whatever it was. Again, this kid's like 7'3". He's just a giant. And, Connolly, the general manager of the or president of basketball operations, whatever his title is, he hasn't been shy about making moves that might raise eyebrows. If you consider drafting 2 young, inexperienced big men, a different way to go about things, because he made the Gobert trade when he first came in. I think a lot of people were caught off guard by it. Traded a lot to get him, too. And then 3 days before training camp, they traded Big Meow, became Bodega Cat. And
it's Rocco Zakarski.
So that became, that was a blockbuster of a trade. And I think it caught most people off guard. I did not think Bodega Cat was going to be traded. And then now we make in the draft, we take a couple of big men. And I don't know if this means, you got to have a tall guy on a basketball team, right? Every team's got to have a tall guy. You got to have a center. Got to have a guy that close to 7 foot. He's got to be 6'11", 7 foot, 7'1". You have to have at least one. Better if you have 2. And what's really good is if they're athletic. If they can not only rebound and block shots, they can score a little bit, they can run the floor. There are a number of those players out there. They're becoming more popular, more prevalent in the NBA than they once did. And we tried to go the 2-man. We had Gobert and Big Meow. I think that first year we had injury issues with Big Meow, so we didn't get a real feel for how it would be. So we ran it back, and it was pretty good. Worked out well. And you have to have a big, especially if you're in the West, you better have, remember when the Packers, after Randy Moss burst onto the scene, they spent like their next 5-6 drafts Their first 2 picks were just automatically defensive backs.
Yeah.
Because they had to have, just like, well, if we can't stop Moss, we can't stop the Vikings. And if we can't stop the Vikings, it's going to be hard to win the division. So when you have, and Connolly knows Joker better than anybody, right? I mean, he was part of the team he put together. That was one of the pieces. Because he was at Denver before he was here, as everyone knows. So maybe he's doing the same thing. It's like, well, Joker's going to be around a while because Joker's relatively young, is he not? He's not. He's probably just entering his prime, I bet, even though he's won. He can't be more than late 20s, is he?
I was going to guess he's around 30.
30 years old?
He is 30.
Okay, 30. You can still play well beyond 30. He's in his prime right now, I would suggest. I mean, he's won 2 or 3 MVP awards now. And had it not been for SGA, he was probably second on that list. I don't know where he ended up finishing in the MVP voting, but my guess is he was second. So if you're going to face Denver, if Denver's a team you're going to need to get by, of course now it looks like it might be the Thunder, but if you got to get by Denver, well, you got to have somebody that can. You can't go at them with short guys.
Well, Wembanyama and San Antonio might be that guy in a couple years as well.
And there you go. And then Holmgren is starting to develop. So you got to have big guys. So that my guess is that's what that's all about. They figure, look, we can get a point guard. We got one with Dillingham. In free agency, we can maybe make a trade. We could do something where we could get a guy, not one of the best point guards in the league, but a guy that's, a veteran, sort of like Conley. He knows the ropes inside and the outs, and so I think that's what they would do. But so getting the big men doesn't surprise me. I just wonder how long we keep. I guess if they make monumental progress during at G League, when they're playing in G League, they'll get brought up to the big club sooner rather than later. But my guess is that's the reason behind selecting big men, is because, like you said, Wembanyama. And then, of course, the Joker, and then with Holmgren, you got to get by these teams with that. You got to have somebody that can go toe-to-toe with their big guy, at least neutralize them to a certain extent. You might not be able to stop them, but at least be able to slow them down. We'll break and come back. John Bonus will join us from the 2 o'clock hour. Talk a little baseball here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
You know what's great about your investment account with the big guys? It's actually a time machine. Log in and zoom. Welcome back to 1999. It's time for an upgrade. At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind at Public.com. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
Unlock smarter learning with Lenovo AI-powered PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors. Head to Lenovo.com and choose from multiple devices to fit your passions. If you're a gamer, you can spend less time stressing about GPUs and CPUs and more time dominating with your AI-enabled smart engine, which optimizes your game performance in real time. Or maybe you're a scientist on the verge of a groundbreaking discovery and need a device with a longer battery life and AI-enhanced tools to give you extra time to finish your research. Or you're a musician preparing for your biggest break and need better, faster AI tools to make digital art a breeze, like creating band posters and t-shirt designs. Or you're a soon-to-be graduate needing to catch a recruiter's eye to land that dream job, so you need cutting-edge smart tools to build your portfolio from scratch. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. Plus, college students and teachers get 5% off with an education account on Lenovo.com. A better future is waiting, and it needs you.
Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/iHeart. Greenlight.com/iHeart.
This is Jana Kramer from Wind Down with Jana Kramer. I love my Samsung appliances, especially because they're so reliable. And with my busy schedule, having reliable appliances has been a game changer. It's no wonder Samsung is the #1 brand for customer satisfaction. That's why I'm excited to tell you all about Samsung's new line of smart appliances featuring their brand new bespoke AI laundry combo. This incredible magic machine washes and dries in one machine, one load, no transfers, no timers, no re-washing needed. You just toss in your dirty clothes and they go from dirty to dry in as little as 68 minutes. It simplifies your entire laundry routine. Plus, you can remotely schedule cycles from your phone so you have fresh clothes ready when you are. New bespoke AI appliances. This is home living made simple. For more information, visit samsung.com/bespoke.
68-minute cycle based on 27-inch combos, based on using a super speed cycle only with a 10-pound DOE load, cotton 50% plus polyester 50%. Individual results may vary based on actual load content. SmartThings app available on Android and iOS devices. Wi-Fi connection and Samsung account required.
Celebrate the return of football with the Minnesota Vikings at training camp. The fun kicks off on Saturday, July 26th for Back Together Saturday. Score tickets today at Vikings.com/camp.
What's the name of this one, Tennessee? All of our generic AI-generated music, or wherever we're getting it from, I have no idea. They have titles to the tunes.
We're setting out.
We're sitting out or setting out?
Setting.
Because I'm sitting out this segment. I'm just hoping you can take it over from here. I think did you tell me there was a fairly significant National Football League trade today between the Steelers and the Dolphins?
Jalen Ramsey, who's been rumored. He's a cornerback. He's going from Miami to Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. I think there's a multiple player trade. Jonnu Smith, the tight end's also going to Pittsburgh. And then Minkah Fitzpatrick, safety, and I believe a 5th round pick or something like that is heading back to Miami.
Okay. Steelers seem like they're trying to position themselves with A-Rod now, Tennessee. This is their window.
They're pushing all their chips in.
Well, and you should. If you got Rodgers, it's not like you're thinking he's going to be around another 10 years and you got room to build around him. This is it. So, yeah, and the Ramsey kid's as good as it gets, right? Is he a top defensive back in the league or not anymore? Or?
He has been. Right. He's also getting a little bit up there in age. I think he's around 30.
Yeah. So, we'll see where that goes. NBA free agency begins tonight, right? Teams can begin negotiating with all eligible free agents after 5 o'clock Central Time, 6 o'clock Eastern on most of these CBS television stations. The biggest names in the free agent pool have already agreed to deals. Tend to be LeBron is staying put. He opted in for 56 something or other million.
That's not official.
Not official?
Well, I mean, the fact that he opted in, yes. But just because he opted in doesn't mean he's necessarily staying in L.A.
They could trade him, right?
Yeah, because I didn't get to it in 5 questions, but his agent, Rich Paul from Clutch Sports, he's the Clutch Sports CEO, he told ESPN's Shams Charania, quote, "We want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count." And then added that James will be closely monitoring what LA does to improve the team in the offseason.
Do you believe that playing with his son is now not a top priority anymore? It's like, well, kid, you're on your own.
Well, how much does his son even play?
Well, he doesn't. But I mean,
with the big club,
right. But I mean, just being with his son, again, being on the same team with his son, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
But I'm just saying he was on
right.
He was in the G League for a good chunk of the year.
Let me put it this way, then. Yeah. Just being in the same organization as this kid means nothing to him anymore. It doesn't seem like, or he could end up sticking around. But I would imagine at 40, is he 41? 40, 39, 40, 41. He has fewer years in front of him than he has behind him. So, as the agent said, Rich Paul.
He's 40.
As Rich Paul said, he wants to make the most of those years. And that's not playing on a 500 ball club, I mean, it's trying to get to the NBA Finals. Jimmy Harden, Kyrie Irving they stayed where they were, right? Or I suppose they could be traded as well, I guess. Our guy Julius Randle has opted back for the team. I did see some interesting notes regarding players of interest here in the Twin Cities. This CBS story says, with the Timberwolves re-signing Naz Reid and agreeing to an expected $100 million plus deal, seems as though the odd man out will be Alexander Walker. The Hawks are considered in the pole position to sign Alexander Walker, with the potential sign and trade on the table for Minnesota. The Hawks have a $25.3 million traded player exception that can be used to take on Nas' contract, which was created after trading DeJounte Murray to the Pelicans last season. If that were to happen, the Timberwolves would be granted a traded player exception to use. So, yeah, it sounds like, right, there's really probably very little chance of Nas coming back, right? Because that would put us, he's expected.
Second apron.
Yeah, he's expected to make plenty of money. I was reading, there was one of those stories talking about landing spots for LeBron if he were to be traded. It listed every NBA team and just talked about what are the chances. And I don't remember, they had each category listed. There were, like 5 or 6 teams in this category, like, real chance, no chance, however he phrased them. And I don't remember which one the Wolves were under, but basically he said, just seems hard to believe he would go to Minnesota because there's never been a really good player that's wanted to go to Minnesota,
sure.
Right? Which is, I guess, is true. We've never seen a high-profile free agent want to sign with the Wolves. As a matter of fact, the one guy we were thinking we might be able to get, we were hoping, we've been pursuing him since last year, right? Tarantula, and he said, I don't want to go there. He basically made no bones about it that he did not want to come here.
Is the biggest name that's ever come here, would that be Sprewell? Because Cassell was trade, if I recall.
That could very well be.
I think Sprewell was the one who signed as a free agent. I'm trying to think of any other Wolves big name free agent signings they've had before.
Yeah, that could very well be. I would think that's the biggest name that I recall. There was one other. My story's spinning around in circles now. They were talking about where Tyus could end up. Wasn't there some interest, or weren't there? Or is it just because he's one of us, people have wanted him to come back here and play again? I don't recall exactly what the story was, but they were talking about where his landing spot might be. See if I can find it again. I cannot. Yeah, I can't find that story either, so I don't know. People continue to ask about your opinion because we have people ducking in and out and coming, people coming in for the first time about. I think people seem to be, and maybe it's just because of the name recognition, they're excited about the Tarasenko character being traded to the Wild. You're not down on it, but you're not overjoyed either.
Yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, if he turns into the Tarasenko from the St. Louis Blues days from 5-6 years ago, I'd be elated. I'd be thrilled. I just having a hard time believing he's going to return. Now, the Wild are going to argue, Tarasenko only scored 11 goals last year. He was on Detroit's third line. That maybe he can be revitalized a little bit playing on Minnesota's second line, where you could play with a guy like a Matt Boldy and, potentially a Marco Rossi in that spot. Or even a Joel Eriksson Ek, that maybe he'll be revitalized just playing with better players and the numbers should go up. But yeah, it's a name people recognize, and it's a guy who was he was one of the best players in the world during his prime. But I know Bill Guerin hasn't come out and told us exactly what their blueprint was for this offseason, but I'm going to trust Michael Russo and all the things he's been writing up to this point. And
he'll be with us Thursday during the 2 o'clock hour.
And he'll be hosting at 3 o'clock today.
Yes.
It does appear that, their plans of how this offseason was going to go is not coming to fruition, right? Mm-hmm. That a lot of guys they wanted to be in the mix for are not. like Brock Nelson re-signed with Colorado. It appears Brock Besser's not coming here anymore. They made an offer for J.J. Paterka. Buffalo ended up accepting the Utah Mammoths offer for Paterka, even though the Wild felt like they gave a better offer. It just seems like what the plan was is not happening. And so that's why, do you really get excited for Tarasenko, or is this just our Band-Aid? This is our Band-Aid to plug the hole, and we're just going to push this off for another year or two. The one thing that has been mentioned, and I agree with, last year, they were so up against the cap that when you got to the trade deadline, they couldn't do anything. And now when people see cap space, they feel like you got to spend all the way up to the cap. And I get it for a team that hasn't had a lot of money to spend over the X amount of years. But it will be a big advantage, right? If you have a season like you did last year where you're pretty darn good given your limitations, and now when you get to the trade deadline, you actually have some space to work with, and you can go out and get a big name before the trade deadline and bolster your team, and that might be the best approach for this current team. Because at that stage, it's prorated.
Yeah.
So you can get some big dollar guys because you're only getting the prorated portion of them. So at the very least, the trade deadline should be more interesting for the Minnesota Wild next year.
Yeah.
As opposed to us just going to the bargain bin.
The kid, Kevin Garnett, went after current NBA players. Headline, Garnett rips NBA players over conditioning amid injury trend. Strengthen your bleeping calves, is what he said. Story reads as follows. Achilles injuries have been a troubling trend that took over these NBA playoffs. Halliburton, Lillard, and Tatum were among the marquee names sidelined by the same issue during the playoffs. Significant blow to the league's star power. All three are expected to miss most, if not all, of next season. So what's behind the apparent rise in these injuries? According to Kevin Garnett, it comes down to conditioning. Garnett didn't hold back during a recent episode of his podcast, KG Certified. KG Certified USDA Chuck Roast. He's arguing that today's players simply aren't in good enough shape. Here's what the kid said. I didn't like the way he was playing against Sac. No. We don't think that today's NBA players, they do play at a fast rate, but I don't think they're in tip-top shape. I don't think these players today, I think they think they're in shape until they talk to bleepers that are in shape. I don't think the league's in the type of shape that you need to be in, the type of shape to play at this pace. I think they think that, and if anybody knows the body, your calves are your brakes. The one thing that supports the calves is your Achilles. So if your calf is the first thing to shut down, you have to think about how things are built, right? I heard the other day some trainers was talking about the lack of calf raises for some of the players to end their workout. Bro, dude, we used to end a workout, especially on leg day, with calf raises. This is how I'm speeding up. This is how I'm stopping. This is my whole wiggle. If your calves ain't here, add on top, and whenever I finish, I got to be athletic enough to finish, right? Strengthen your bleeping calves. Do the bleeping calf raises every day. That's according to the kid. Calf raises aren't, there was a time actually, when I did 515 and 515. Calf raises aren't fun. Really, the thing that prevented me from continuing to lift weights is because I don't enjoy it. Some people love it, like the superstar Mike Morris, who will be our 2 o'clock guest on Wednesday. He eats, breathes, and drinks that stuff.
Yes.
And that's what he loved to do. And me, doesn't do it for me. Apparently doesn't do it for Luka Doncic either. That's what we're able to tell. But then they had some quotes in here. From some experts. It says Dr. Kevin Farmer and Dr. James Borchers, two leaders in sports medicine, point to a mix of culprits: low-cut shoes, longer seasons, even certain antibiotics. But the biggest red flag, they argue, is early sports specialization. As more young athletes ditch multi-sport training to focus year-round on a single game, their bodies may be less prepared for the demands of the pro level. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
I've never really thought of it from maybe we have discussed. Maybe you've talked about it, and I really wasn't listening. I was just waiting for my turn to talk. But I guess that it has been brought up by you and others that if you do the same repetitions over and over and over again, it's like, I remember the late Dennis Thompson, the creator of the ARP wave mechanism. And it's like, it's an electrical contraption, different than a TENS machine. And it uses electrical pulses to create blood flow, and it works well for soft tissue injuries, right? Blood flow, that's the best way to repair those kinds of issues. And what he used to say about stretching was, like he said, if you took a rubber band and just kept stretching it over and over and over again, right?
Yeah.
What would eventually happen? It would just you know how a rubber band just wears out and becomes floppy? Same thing with so he wasn't a big believer in doing a lot of stretching. I mean, you have to do some, but you can overdo it on the stretching. And I guess it's probably similar to you keep using the same muscle and the same repetitions for whatever sport you're in. You
don't get a chance to recover.
Yeah. Exactly. And so, the kid speaks out. The kid. So, and then someone says, aren't baseball injuries blamed on too much conditioning? I don't know if that's a prevalent opinion or not. I know we've talked about it here, about it, and I've read pieces, as I'm sure you have, from what did they refer to these guys at? Medical experts or doctors or whatever they were, however they were described in this story by Garnett. It says two leaders in sports medicine. We've heard them say the same thing, is that if you don't give yourself your how would you describe it, Tenneby? The way you've talked about when you work so hard and you look like an Adonis.
Yep.
But it doesn't.
Those muscles are ready to snap.
Yeah,
the tendons are ready to snap.
Exactly, and that's what you see, and it happens all the time. It's happened to Royce Lewis and many other players, and so I don't know.
I would think, I don't know if I completely agree with Kevin Garnett, though. He has a pulse, more on the pulse of the NBA than me, but I think the over specialization probably has more to do with it than they're not conditioning. I mean, they all look like finely chiseled athletes in the NBA. I don't look at them and go, man, they don't jump as high as they used to, or they're not as fast as they used to. I think it's probably the other way. That it's like Royce Lewis, where they are training too much on the same muscles over and over and over again. I mean, are we getting more injuries in the NBA now than we did 20, 30 years ago? I guess I don't have the...
Yeah, I don't have any statistical evidence to that. But you and I have discussed this. And where did we read who had the quote? I read it a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember who it was, but he talked about how, like Cal Ripken, an Iron Man, he said, it was Cal Ripken and another guy. He said, those guys the quote was something like, they wouldn't have wanted to take their shirts off at a beach, right? In other words, they weren't like finely chiseled guys, but they played game after game after game. Ripken never missed a game. You could argue he probably should have a couple times when he was in bad slumps, but these guys, back in the old, I don't ever remember when and again, maybe somebody can provide me with some evidence to this, but back, and I know it's the back in my day thing, but back when I was watching baseball in the 60s and 70s, I don't remember a lot of players going on the injured list very often. It seemed like they all played all 162 games, and their workout was having a heater and a couple of cans of beer after the ball game is what they did. So I don't know.
Well, even to your point, like Joe Mauer, I remember going to the Twins clubhouse as like an intern, and he had a shirt off in the clubhouse. And I'm like he just looks like a normal guy with a shirt off, right? Like he's not a finely tuned, sculpted athlete. Clearly, like his hand-eye coordination is as good as anybody's. And I think baseball is a sport of hand-eye coordination more so than anything. But a lot of this too is at the higher levels in all these sports, the money has gotten so outrageous that trickles down to the youth, and you have all of these people that are trying to sell the young athletes on, this is what you need to do to get to the next step. You got to try my training program. You got to, right? And so I think a lot of people buy into that at the young ages when it's.
I would say all you need to train in hockey is the tarp shooter. If you got tarp shooter, you don't need anything else. I really don't think there's much more. And if you're looking to kill a few hours, just order my book. Though those are almost gone now too. John Bonus, he's Twins Daily, Gleeman and the Geek, the whole thing. He's in studio next, talk a little baseball with us for an hour. Look forward to that. And maybe we can do this, Tennessee. See if anybody's got any text messages they want to send with questions for Bonus, and maybe even some talkbacks as well. So John Bonus in next here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
You know what's great about your investment account with the big guys? It's actually a time machine. Log in and zoom. Welcome back to 1999. It's time for an upgrade. At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind at Public.com. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
This is Jana Kramer from Wind Down with Jana Kramer. When we were deciding on our appliances for the house, Samsung was at the top of our list. And I love my Samsung appliances, especially because they're so reliable. And with my busy schedule, having reliable appliances has been a game changer. It's no wonder Samsung is the #1 brand for customer satisfaction. That's why I'm excited to tell you all about Samsung's new line of smart appliances featuring their brand new bespoke AI laundry combo. This incredible magic machine washes and dries in one machine, one load, no transfers, no timers, no rewashing needed. New bespoke AI appliances. This is home living made simple. For more information, visit samsung.com/bespoke.
68-minute cycle based on 27-inch combos, based on using a super speed cycle only with a 10-pound DOE load, cotton 50% plus polyester 50%. Individual results may vary based on actual load content.
Come on, why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity with Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com. Lenovo. Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
A treasure trove of bananas has been stolen, and it's up to Donkey Kong and his buddy Pauline to get them back. This unlikely duo is going on a world-smashing adventure, using DK's destructive abilities to explore an underground world, and the power of Pauline singing to activate wild transformations. Donkey Kong Bonanza, available July 17th. Rated everyone 10 and up. Only on Nintendo Switch 2. Game and system sold separately.